All right, let's just get started here. 2005 Honda Accord EXL trim with the 4-cylinder. All right, why are we doing this review? Because, well, we cannot neglect vehicles like this, okay? The pragmatic vehicles that people, children, whatever, tend to actually buy, right? Something like this, which costs about $5,700, right? It's got about 169,000 miles on it. Well, this is what people actually buy. I mean, no real point in talking about the looks of this thing because, let's be honest, that's not why you buy this. Let's just transition over into the drive because, well, the other reason why I suggest going with the Honda product is because they tend to drive the best, okay? With a limited budget, this is going to be some of the best driving cars that you're going to be able to get your hands on. You know, it's not fast, but it's a nice, smooth 4-cylinder, even after all these years. Okay, I've driven this car before, not this exact one, but one with like 250,000 miles, and the solidity of these cars is incredible, okay? It's not like these like domestic cars. Like I just did a Ford Thunderbird review here and a Ford F-150 Harley Davidson edition, right? I did all these little reviews on these domestic cars from back in the day, early 2000s, and they're creaking, they're rattling, they have like these shitty plastic interiors. And I'll talk about the interior later, but really the only common issues you're going to be finding with something like these early model Hondas, it's not really like a big deal. It's just stuff that you can work on yourself. But some of the things I noticed are engine mounts. Okay, they tend to go kind of wrong and can cause some vibration that you might feel through the steering, which this one is very smooth power plant, no problems there. Other things like little ignition switch issues, door actuators, really not a big deal. The rest of it, maintenance stuff, you can honestly do it yourself. These are logically laid out engine bays, okay? Anybody can work on this stuff with like a simple, you know, kind of tools that you can buy off of Amazon, right? It's a low upkeep car that drives really well. So some more specs on it, like I already mentioned, it's got 160 horse, 161 pounds-feet of torque, and we got a 5-speed automatic transmission here. And again, not fast at all. But I love this engine, how it kind of revs out smoothly. It's the type of car where you're going to want to drive it foot to the floor all the time. You can use 100% of this car. You can just drive foot to the floor all the time, just just all the time, just with the foot all the way down. You're just standing on top of the throttle pedal, right? The best attribute about this car has got to be the suspension, okay? Double wishbone suspension in all 4 corners, okay? Front and rear, double wishbones. It's really the best suspension geometry that you could ever ask for. Dude, this is better than most of the new cars today. Now I get it. I've driven all the new kind of Honda products, the Civics, the Accords, all that, and yeah, sure, they handle great, okay, but almost all the newer cars today have transitioned over into a McPherson strut suspension, whereas this, even though it costs more, Honda decided to go with a double wishbone all 4 corners, so I really respect them for that. And modern day strut suspensions have kind of caught up to this, but I'm just saying though, you're getting a lot for, you know, what you're paying for with these cars, and that's why, you know, it always tracks straight. You always have good confidence when you're driving this car. You got 16-inch wheels on this because it's the EXL trim, right? Wrapped in 215 wide tires in all 4 corners. Your seating position is great. You have great visibility out through the front, the rear, the sides. It's not even an issue. Very easy car to drive as well. There's not really much feedback through the steering, but you know what car does provide good feedback through the steering? It's a very, very rare thing, but anyway, it's got a nice weight to it regardless. One of the most fun things that you can possibly do if you own a older model Honda is put an intake in it. I promise you it's going to be the most entertaining thing that you're ever going to do to your car. Like the sound that this vehicle produces on throttle will be like tenfold. I shit you not. So definitely do that. Don't put some tin can exhaust on here. That's just going to ruin it. You know, 4-cylinders don't really sound that good. Honda ones admittedly do sound better, but I'm just saying though, it sounds good stock. You don't want to enhance it any further than what it sounds like right now. But an intake won't ruin this car. There's a little bit of road noise coming through, but all in all, not too bad. This is actually a relatively refined vehicle, okay? You know, there's no double pane glass or anything like that, but it's still pretty damn quiet in here. These cars weigh about 100 pounds, about 189 inches long. So it's certainly on the petite side when compared to the newer mid-size sedans. I really did want to test out the V6, but you know, I gotta test what they have here. But everything responds so well, so smoothly. The 5-speed automatic is great. The 4-cylinder, like I mentioned, is really buttery smooth, and this is handling exceptionally well. This handles better than the 2021 Buick I'm testing out right now. Infinitely better, in fact. Kind of the benefits of the suspension setup. Okay, lowers the center of gravity, improves the handling, improves the ride quality. It's really well done. Tracks straight. The vehicle's not like tugging, you know, left and right or anything like that. Just tracks straight, tracks smooth, no problems there. And you have a good sense of speed in this vehicle, enough to make it exciting. So even though you're not going so fast, it feels like you're going a little bit quicker than what you really are. So again, add some fun there as well. All right, then let's just go ahead, kind of throw this bad boy in there. Yeah, not bad at all. Yeah, handled that extremely well. Obviously, the smaller wheels on this also helps with the ride quality. But yeah, that was some really good handling dynamics there, especially for the time, man. It's a fun little car. I like the way it just coasts along. It just there's a sense that it's just kind of effortlessly going about, even though it's not quick. That's not the point. There's just a good dynamic here that I really appreciate. The brakes provide you with a lot of confidence. They're really predictable to get on. So okay, so we get it. The car drives well. It's relatively quiet, comfortable, not quick, but it feels good. So the other things are, I already mentioned it's a Honda product. It's relatively reliable, right? Just a few little small problems that you might come across, but there's going to be a lot of mechanics that can work on these things. You can work on it yourself. You can get parts off of Rock Auto or something like that for days. It's not even an issue. Aftermarket support, all this shit, it's all available to you. So it just makes sense to go with the vehicle like this. Now, yeah, of course, at a price point like this, $5,700, you know, you're not going to expect a perfect condition car. You know, the paint's not going to be perfect, the interior is not going to be perfect, but everything's going to be functional. It's going to work. It's going to be good, reliable transportation that's going to be safe to drive and even rewarding to drive, I'm not gonna lie. And that's one of the reasons why there's such a large fan base for these Honda cars. Okay, it's one of the best, like, affordable vehicles that you can get that's not a total turd to drive. So with that established, let's go ahead and let's transition over into that interior segment, shall we? Nice, doesn't peel off in the corners. That's good. All right, well, let's wrap up this interior because, well, I just want to talk about how this thing has aged with 169,000 miles on it. Like I mentioned, it's not perfect. It's definitely got some wear on the steering wheel here, kind of crackling going on with the leather seats. And yes, it does have some leather seats because this is the EXL trim, of course. So it's kind of like the fully loaded 4-cylinder model. Again, I really want to try out the V6, but that's okay. It is what it is. But yeah, these leather seats are extremely comfortable, very non-fatiguing seats, but they didn't really age the best. They definitely tended to crack and kind of rip apart a little bit here. So that's just the only drawback, but you could just put some seat covers on it and call it a day. You have like this very interesting kind of wood trimming going on here. It's obviously it's got to be fake, but it just looks really odd, but I kind of like it at the same time. So you have that going on here as well. But most importantly, even though some of these materials might not look the best, it's really well put together. Okay, it's extremely solid, and it's just been baking out in the sun like this, and it's still extremely solid. So it's one of the main reasons why I recommend these Honda Acura products, because of just how well they age. It's like Lexus solid in here, so I like that. You have one-touch auto windows just for the driver's side windows here, but at least it'll go down, up and down, one touch, so that's a good thing. Like I mentioned, visibility is really good in here. I do like the feel of the steering. It's kind of like a thin rim steering. So, and you have this little display right here with your little 6-disc CD changer, but the screen is kind of hard to read, especially when there's sunlight glaring onto it. So that's kind of annoying. And it's not like a real infotainment screen, obviously. It just shows you some basic information like your temperature, your fan speed, and what kind of music you're playing. You have a lot of space here in the center. You kind of push this centerpiece open. There's a ton of space. You can definitely put a cell phone in there, no problems. 2 cup holders, your traditional kind of gear shifter. You even have heated seats in here just for the front 2 seats, but very impressive. Again, that's why I kind of like these kind of fully loaded Honda products. It kind of gives you the pragmatic things that you actually need. And you even have a sunroof here as well, and the buttons are on the side here to access those. The rear view mirror kind of has some, I don't know what this is called, some deformation going on the edges, so there is that. Now let's go ahead and let's talk about the rear seats. So the rear seats continue to be extremely comfortable. The space is fine. Okay, I'm 5'11". There's enough space for me to sit back there, even with my seat setting. And these are electric seats, by the way, especially for the fronts. And you can actually fold down the seats, I'm sure, in this vehicle, but the thing is, I can't really seem to get the trunk open in this vehicle, and that's kind of unfortunate, but I'm sure it's a large trunk. I think something is just locked, and I don't know, I tried to unlock this thing, like the trunk area, and I tried to pull on the tab. I tried every little way to get the trunk open, but it just doesn't seem to work. So I don't know, it's probably something trivial, but anyway, that's just something I noticed. Again, the shit you have to deal with a $5,000 car, it's part of life. Anyway, that's a look at your little 2005 Honda Accord. Nice little car. Everything else is functional in here, at least, and it drives perfectly. That's really the best part about this car, is just how well it drives, how smoothly it gets up to speed, and how it maintains that speed. The fact that it idles smoothly, the transmission is smooth, all these things, and all the electronics, aside from whatever's controlling the trunk, is all working in here. Nice pragmatic choice. So thank you again for watching. Take care and goodbye.